Hi, my name is Marissa Castillo, and I'm one of the co-directors of Panto Alicia in Wonderland.
And I am Benito Vasquez, and I am the other co-director of Panto Alicia In Wonderland.
Seriously, thank you guys both for talking with me today. I really do appreciate it. I am excited about checking out the show, but I do want to kind of start off for people that are not familiar with what a panto is. Could you kind of give us a little backstory? Because I myself had to like look up. I'm like, okay, what does this mean? What are we getting into? Tell me a little bit about what that is.
Sure. So, pantos are a twist on fairy tales or fables. And for this year's panto, it's a twist on Alice in Wonderland. Pantos are usually a UK tradition. They're done in the UK every year during the holiday season. They are, when you twist it, you twist the story to make it more modern and more relevant to the time and place that you're setting your panto in. So for Alicia in Wonderland, it's set here and now in the Houston area. We have Alicia from H Town, or from the H, as she says. And so you meet characters very similar to your classic characters like the Tweedles, and our iteration of the Toasting Cat is a lot more familiar to Houston audiences. And so some of those characters are a lot more familiar as far as like local celebrities. And you have people like the Red Queen, who she's a queen, but she's more like that woman boss CEO in charge.
I'll just add that so Panto is short for pantomime. So part of that comes along with that is that pantomime tends to have a big characters, very vaudeville style storytelling, where it's sort of a lot of jokes and gags and sort of larger than life characters that you sort of expect the unexpected to sort of show up throughout the show as well. Oh, and the last thing is pantos tend to use pop songs that are parodies. I'm not sure Marissa
No,
said
I
that right.
didn't.
And so our version is Latino pop stars. So you'll hear parodies of Shakira, of Selena, of Cumbia Kings, of Bad
J-Lo,
Bunny,
Cardi B.
J-Lo, yes. So that's also a very traditional part of Panto.
I love this. This sounds like an incredibly fun time in the theater. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a
Now
party.
I love that. It's what we want for the holiday season. We want a party.
Yeah.
Um, so did I read that this show was written in-house? It was put together just like so. This is the first time we're getting to really see this version of this particular show.
Yeah, so that was written by Teatrix. We're the co-founders of Teatrix. There are five of us who worked on this script together. It started in January of this year, and we developed it. I would say we developed it from January to today. As far as like we got our rehearsal draft um, in March, and then it changed again when we got closer to rehearsals. And then, of course, in the rehearsal process, the great thing about new work is that you get fabulous actors who come in and they bring their own spin to it and their own things to it, and they ask really great questions so that at that point we're able to then adjust to the people on stage and make it just better and better and better throughout the process.
Okay, so I did want to ask, so what is it about the Alice story that made you guys decide to go with Alice in Wonderland for this year's Panto?
So that was actually one of the ideas that was brought to us by Ken McLaughlin, the artistic director of stages, as one of the options that they were looking at eventually being a panto. And we liked it right from the beginning. We pitched it to our group of five, and all of them were fans of Alice in Wonderland, and we also right away saw that the story could be told through a Latinx lens, just because as we thought about this whole idea of a young girl. Wonderland tends, people tend to agree that it's a sort of metaphor about how confusing the world could be for a kid going into adolescence or adulthood. And so we easily made the connection that our Alice could be uh, in the middle of that sort of transformation or journey in her life of right before she becomes a quinceañera, and that whole tradition of womanhood, or transition from girlhood to womanhood, and what that tradition has sort of morphed into today. And it could be very sort of confusing times for kids at that age, being asked questions like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And, what school, college do you want to go to? All these questions that can be very confusing, and a very confusing part of one's life. And so we thought it would be interesting to explore that. Like, what if Wonderland explores uh, um, those traditions that some kids may not necessarily have a resonate with them? Because our Alicia wants to have a big party. And a lot of these quinceañeras have become about how big can they get, can we go viral, that kind of thing. And so she doesn't understand the traditions that her parents are wanting to sort of be part of her quinceañera. And so Wonderland is exploring those in a very weird, nonsensical, comical way. Those roots, those traditions of who is Alicia. And so she goes through that journey.
I love that. I mean, honestly, I'm very excited to check out this show. This is Alice in Wonderland is one of my favorite kind of fairy tale classic stories, and so I'm very curious to see the spin that you guys have put on this. For both of you, what has been the most fun thing about working on a show like this?
I think when comedy is hard, and when you're writing it on a page, you don't know what it's going to be like when people start saying those words out loud, the words that you wrote in some cases. Humor's hard. And I think the most exciting part is seeing the new ways that the cast makes us laugh every day. Like they find something new and they do something new. And then like the surprises, now that we're starting to get audiences, the surprises from the audiences, seeing how they react to it any given day. It's different. They laugh at this thing and we're like, like they found that funny? We didn't think that was funny. And somehow like between the actors and the writing and the audience, we're finding this new light and humor in different spots. And that to me is a really, really fun thing to witness.
It's the process, meaning we've gotten the wonderful opportunity to be in the writing room and then get to be the ones leading the production as well, which is not necessarily always the case. And so we got to be in that writing room starting in January, and we just kept meeting and writing, bringing actors in when we got stuck at moments and getting their feedback. And these were actors that we trusted, that we knew would bring something to the table as far as helping us develop the script. And so that was just a wonderful sort of experience and process of bringing them on, and it changed. It made the script better. And then we got to before we started our production meetings with our amazing core designers, our designers who have just brought even more to the story. So it just continued to layer each step of the process, bringing the actors in. Then they would add to the characters, and they would improve on the script. The Ryan, who plays Buttons, is a traditional character at every Panto at Stages for the 15 years that it's been there. And so Brian is way more familiar with Panto and Buttons than we are. So for the writing, the scenes 4 buttons. We only provided Ryan with a structure, but really it was us knowing that Ryan understood and is very good at audience engagement and improv, that we didn't have to give him much for Ryan to sort of take over those scenes and really make them his own, and in a way make them buttons, the tradition that is buttons at stages. So that was such a also a beautiful process of working throughout, how the actors also made the piece better. So it really was everything. I also want to mention one of the other impactful moments was when we got into the room with just musicians, and we would just tell them what sort of mood we were thinking for the scene, and they would take that song and then just, oh, you mean like this? And they would just start playing. I was like, that's exactly right. And so it was amazing to just be in the room, because we don't have a live band. We recorded everything. And so, but the recordings came out beautifully, and it was because we had wonderful musicians. Anthony Almendares was a member of Theatrics, was our composer, and then Freddie, his last name, oh my god, his last name is slipping my mind right now. Freddie is it Mendez, is our music director, and he was also the recording engineer. And that whole team, along with the musicians, just created a beautiful score for the Panto.
I love that. And the more that I hear about the show, the more excited I am about seeing it. I know for myself that like I absolutely can't wait to get down to stages and come and check this out. But I always like to end on this particular question, and each of you can definitely take a turn with this. Why do you think Houston audiences need to come out to stages and check out Panto Alicia in Wonderland? Benito, if you'd like to go first.
There's 2 things that I continue to say that I hope people get out of coming and watching this. One, if you are familiar with the Panto tradition, if you have come every year to see Panto at stages, that I hope you enjoy this, what Marissa's been calling a theatrics twist to this tradition. And so it's a window into the Latinx culture, the Latinx storytelling, with still staying true to the Panto tradition. So it's really 2, and 2 cultures colliding, and to tell a wonderful, fun story. So that's one for those that are already familiar with Panto. The second, if you've never experienced Panto, this is going to be a wonderful and fun way of introducing this tradition to audiences that perhaps never maybe never identified with the tradition, or didn't felt that it wasn't for them. This show, this tradition is for everyone, from kids to adults. I love watching both kids and adults dancing in the previews to everything, and reacting to to the different jokes. Of course, some of the sort of adult humor goes over the kids' heads, but the adults are sort of love that idea that is specific moment is just for them. So it's for both traditional audiences that have been going to Panto, and we want to bring in that new audience for generations to come for this Panto tradition.
Excellent. Marissa, did you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'll add that it's a party from beginning, the moment you step inside that theater, until the end. You're gonna dance, you're gonna laugh, you're gonna sing, you might cry. It has everything that you would want from a theater production, live and right in front of you. And the actors, they pour themselves into it every night, and the audience is overwhelmed with joy at the end. And I think that's all you can ask for at any given time, is to be able to sit down and just feel joy for 2 hours.
I love that. Well, it's the time of the season to feel joy, and what a better way to do it than to come down and hang out with this amazing group and check out this incredibly fun show. Marissa, Benito, I really thank you both so much for your time today. For you guys watching, you can check out Panto Alicia in Wonderland. It's playing now at Stages Houston. You can get tickets at stageshouston.com. The show is running through December 31st. You are not going to want to miss it. Bring your family, come and have a blast with these guys. And like I said, thank you both so much for talking with us today. I really appreciate y'all. This has been Ray with the Houston Film Fanatics, and we will catch you guys next time. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.